you say to the environment? Like Napoleon from the Outlaws just did a story, but basically painting death row records like a war camp, like a hood. Like if you go in there and you're not correct, you're gonna get beat down. Like is that how you remember it?
Well, it's not how I remember. The truth be told, it's like this. Once again, you'll see it in the series. It's like this. My father, I grew up with 10 uncles from the South. They all played football and fight. I started playing organized football, Pop wanted football at 5 years old. They put my age up to 7. So everything I dealt with, I treated like it was a sport. Now, in football, if you fuck up, either you run a lap for the Pop Warner, they put you in the bull ring. And when you get in the middle, and the coach will call 1, 2, 3 different numbers, if you don't hit them fast enough, they're gonna knock you down and fuck over you. So you have to be tough. You have to be disciplined. So that's where I got it from, sports. That's why if you hear any of the albums I did, it was always competitive. It was competition because if a person didn't have a good verse, somebody else had a better verse. Just like sports. And was everything? We didn't live in church. We're not in heaven. And you gotta, that's like if you're in the jungle, you gotta survive. I named my label, Death Row Records. And a lot of times, you'll see, people will say, oh, I started Death Row, I put money in Death Row, I had something to do with it. All that's lies. I'm the only timer, they supposed to treat me the same way they would treat Pepsi Cola or Warner Brothers. People can get a default judgment against me and commit fraud, and then turn around and they say they got something to do with Death Row. That's crazy. But it is true that stuff was aggressive at Death Row. But you had your choices. If you want to be the best and be a man and do how you want to do it, do it. Be about your music. Be about your lyrics. Everybody understood that. So when it came to Pac, I think Pac understood it more than anybody in the world. But at the same time, you can't take nothing from Snoop either because I know I can get Snoop to go to New York with me and promote Death Row faster than anybody else would. It'll just be him and I. But Pac was on a level where it wasn't just about no gang shit. It was about our people. And when we say our people, who trying to do better, how trying to get better, it's really, people say it all the time, but there's really no colors in the ghetto. I'm talking about for skin colors.
Right.
Because, everybody at the bottom trying to get to the top. But a lot of people behind the scenes went to prison behind Death Row. Some people even lost their life. We still pay a debt.
Right.
So a lot of times when people, Death Row still today it wasn't just a label, it was an organization. It's a lot of people around the world got that branding on them tattoo. So if Snoop had Ed Sherman a Death Row chain, he better not be surprised if some thug knock on the door one night and say, you part of the family, I need you to see a hook on my shit. It's situations where it's not about, this whole thing is not about who tough, who not tough. Where are we going with this? How are we growing? Are we going to still do the same thing we did when we was, to me, every day is a blessing. Because when I was young, they told me if I get to be 18, I was going to be something special. They said 21 was out the question. I was like, what you mean by that? That was old years was telling me. They said, well, shit, you're going to either be on the real Death Row. That's why I want to name my company Death Row. Because they said I was going to either be on the real Death Row doing time, waiting to get executed, or be dead. So my mother was washing my clothes one time, and she found my driver's license. I said, what you doing with this fake driver's license? I said, no, Mom, it's real. And it was, on my driver's license, I was at the time like 16, 17. My driver's license said I was 26. I said, people want to put the age back, not forward. I said, Mama, they say I ain't going to make it. Before I go, I'm going to live. So I was really going to the club, showing my ID, going in, having a good time. And so once I got older, every time I got older, it was just another blessing. So if I didn't do nothing else in life, if I don't do nothing else in life, I already beat all the odds. I seem like I lived 1,000 years. I did everything you can think of but die. Sometimes if it's Netflix or Stars or Showtime or a lot of other companies, right, when you get ready to do stuff with them, either one, they want you to water it down, or they want to make sure this person don't get upset if it's the truth, or they want to, they just want to water it down. And I believe that, there's only one truth. And if you're going to help the people, especially the younger generation, because I always believe that's our most important goal is helping the youth. If you're going to do something uncut, you got to deliver it the right way, regardless how the truth comes out. Because always be entertaining, but also be a learning process. And then with BLK Prime, it's different because they're the first platform to say, hey, we're going to be as aggressive as you want it to be. We're going to tell the truth. We're not going to water them down. It's going to be, it is what it is. Ball to ball, strike to strike. And what could be better than that, And since I've been in here, from the county jail to being in prison, a lot of times people come in and try to take advantage. They'll be like, oh, they say they talk to this person to get something done. They talk to that person to get something done. And they'll lie, right? But it's not about putting anybody down. It's about moving forward. And this situation is where I really had an opportunity to put a period behind all question marks. Just like when people do a lot of stuff on Pac, when they be talking about Pac, it'd be people who never met him or never hung with him or didn't know anything about him or they knew the stuff about him when he was taking ballet. They didn't know those aggressive years. And like what you've seen in these series, it'll teach you how to build a company. It will teach you how to build a friendship. You will see how people lose their lives.